Welcome back, my journaling buddies. Welcome to Journals of Gratitude with your girl, Journaling with Judith. Today we are discussing something that can restore, heal, and strengthen your marriage. And that is, drumroll, we all know it, it's gratitude. If you're married, engaged, or even hoping to be married someday, this episode is surely for you. Gratitude is a foundation for deep emotional and physical intimacy. It's the difference between a marriage that just survives and the one that thrives. For some, marriage is a place of safety, love, and partnership. But for others, has become a place of pain, distance, and unspoken resentment. If you've been struggling in your marriage, if you feel unseen, unheard, or disconnected, I want you to hear this today. There is hope. God designed marriage as a covenant, not a contract. And when we cultivate gratitude, we unlock a power that can transform our relationships. Gratitude is the key to a thriving marriage. Many couples struggle because over time we begin to focus on what's missing rather than what's present. We tend to notice what our spouse isn't doing instead of appreciating what they are doing. Practicing gratitude can help shift that focus. So listen, grab your journal, grab your favorite drink, and let's get started. Welcome to Journaling with Judith, the podcast where gratitude transforms lives. I'm Judith, a wife, mom, John Maxwell leadership coach, and a daughter of the King. What if gratitude could shift your perspective on life? What if everything God has for you is in your gratitude posture? Together, we will explore how choosing gratitude can draw you closer into the will of God and manifest your divine birthright. Grab your journal, open your heart, and let's get started. Welcome back, my journaling buddies. It's the month of love, and love is in the air. We will be celebrating Valentine's Day in a couple of days, actually. But today, I want to share this biblical truth with you guys. Ephesians 5:33 says, "Each of you also must love his wife as he loves himself, and the wife must respect her husband." Notice how love and respect goes hand in hand. Gratitude fuels both. A husband's love and appreciation strengthens his wife's heart. When a wife acknowledges and respects her husband's effort, it builds him up in ways words cannot describe. Gratitude isn't just a nice practice. We all come to that agreement, right? It's a biblical principle that sustains us. And today we're focusing on the sustainability of gratitude regarding our marriages. What happens when gratitude is absent? Let's get honest. If you've been in a marriage where gratitude is lacking, you would have likely felt emotional distance, resentment, and criticism, disconnection in intimacy. When appreciation isn't expressed, walls are built up. It becomes easier to see what's wrong than right. And a lack of gratitude can slowly erode emotional and physical closeness. I've seen marriages fall apart not because of big dramatic fights, but because of the small daily neglect of appreciation over time. One person feels unnoticed and unappreciated, and their hearts start to shut down over time. But here's the truth. Gratitude can soften heart, rekindle connection, and restore intimacy. It's not a magic wand that we are just going to wave around, but it is transformational. My motto is one small shift makes a big impact. How to cultivate gratitude daily in marriage. Notice the small things. Easy to overlook the everyday acts of love and kindness. Maybe your spouse brings you coffee in the morning, handles the bills, cares for the kids, or works tirelessly to provide for the home. Maybe they listen, they check in on you, or sit beside you silently when you've had a hard day. Here's a real-life scenario of David and Sarah's story. The silent drift versus the power of one thank you. This was a marriage on autopilot. Sarah and David have been married for over 10 years. They love each other, but over time, things started feeling like a routine. They wake up in the mornings, they take care of the kids, they go to work, they come home, they eat silently, and they go to bed. Conversations are mostly about responsibilities, bills, or what needs to be fixed around the home. One night, Sarah, feeling emotionally distant, asked David, "Do you even appreciate me anymore?" David, caught off guard, responded, "What do you mean?" "Of course I do." But in that moment, Sarah realized something. She hasn't actually heard him say it in years. After a few sessions, the shift began with one small action. A few days later, Sarah reported back to me that she listened to the podcast, she took the necessary steps, and decided to try something different. Instead of waiting for David to change, she chose to express gratitude first. So as Sarah continues to share a moment where David hands her a cup of coffee, and she simply says, "Thank you, I really appreciate you making my coffee in the mornings. It makes my morning easier." David looked at her in surprise and replied, "You're welcome." It's small, it's simple, but it softened both of their hearts. Both of them recognizing where a change had to happen. Over the next few weeks, they intentionally expressed gratitude daily. Sarah thanks David for working hard to support the family. David acknowledges Sarah's effort in taking care of the kids and the home. Instead of focusing on what's missing, they started focusing on what's already there. And their marriage has begun to see an improvement. They start talking more. Intimacy improved, especially what Sarah was worried about. The emotional distance began to close. It all started with one moment of gratitude. The lesson from Sarah's story is, why wait for the other person to change? What can you change starting today? Train yourself to notice and appreciate the small things. Keep track of one thing your spouse does daily that blesses you. 1 Thessalonians 5 verse 18 says, "Give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ." Gratitude isn't based on perfection. It's based on perspective. One small act of kindness every day. Many people think their spouse knows they are appreciated, but the truth is that unspoken gratitude often feels like non-existent gratitude. I want to share a biblical truth. Gratitude as a covenant, not a contract. In Ephesians 5:33, the Bible teaches that each one of you also must love his wife as he loved himself, and the wife must respect the husband. Love fuels respect. Respect fuels love, and gratitude fuels both. Marriage is a covenant, not a contract. In a contract, you give only if the other person meets their end of the deal. But in a covenant, you give freely, without conditions, just like God gave himself to us. Gratitude aligns with God's design for marriage because it trains us to see our spouse through his eyes, not through a lens of lack, but of love, not through frustration, but through faith, and not through resentment, but through Reverence. When we express gratitude to our spouse, we aren't just strengthening our marriage, we are honoring God's divine plan for our relationship. And you're also setting an example for the unseen eyes who you are not noticing that's observing your marriage. So make it a habit to verbally express appreciation daily. It could be as simple as, thank you for working so hard for our family. I love how patient you are with the kids. I appreciate you for always making me laugh. Gracious words are like a honeycomb, sweet to the soul and healing to the bone. Never underestimate the power of your words in building up your spouse. I want to talk a little bit about the scientific research on how gratitude boosts marriage satisfaction. Well, now, science is just merely confirming what the Bible has always taught. Gratitude makes marriage stronger. A study from the University of Georgia found that couples who regularly express gratitude experience higher relationship satisfaction, increased resilience in conflict, and a deeper emotional bond. So gratitude strengthens emotional security. When partners feel appreciated, they feel safe, valued, and emotionally connected. Gratitude reduces stress and resentment, so couples focus on what's working instead of dwelling on the disappointments, creating a positive cycle of appreciation. Gratitude increases intimacy. When people feel unnoticed and valued, they are naturally excited and more emotionally and physically affectionate. Even in difficult seasons, gratitude can rewire your relationship from distant and disconnect to deeply intimate and connected. Sometimes, my journaling buddies, writing down our thoughts helps us shift our mindset. Keeping a relationship gratitude journal can reframe the way we see our spouse and how we think. This action step for you this week is start a gratitude journal for your marriage. Every night, write down one thing you appreciate about your spouse. Even during the tough season, find something, anything to be grateful for. Philippians 4 verse 8 reminds us to focus on the good. Whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. When you actively seek out the good, your heart will naturally shift towards gratitude. Make gratitude your love language. Love is shown in small, intentional acts. Gratitude doesn't have to be a grand thing. It just has to be consistent. Choose one intentional act of gratitude every day this week. Write a heartfelt note. If this is the week of love as we're coming up to Valentine's Day, write your spouse a note of love and appreciation. Do something thoughtful that expresses your appreciation. Sometimes it's not just only the gift, but what's coming directly from our heart posture. Pray over your spouse daily. Let them hear your words. Let them hear the prayer that you are covering over them. Mark 10:9 says, therefore, what God has joined together, let no one separate. One of the best ways to protect and nurture your marriage is through consistent act of love and gratitude and praying over your spouse. My journaling buddies, our motto is small shifts, big impact. So your action steps, but let's expand it just a little bit this week. We're going to expand it for this week or for the next 7 days if you choose to. Join me on a 3-day challenge, a gratitude marriage reset. Day 1, express one verbal thank you to your spouse for something they do daily. Day 2, Write a small note of appreciation and leave it where they will find it. Day 3, pray over your spouse, thanking God for them and speaking blessings over their life. And for those who want to go a little bit deeper, try the 7-day challenge. Each day, write something you love about your spouse. At the end of the week, give it to your spouse as a surprise. Or if you decide to do it together, exchange your words of gratitude that you've recorded for that week. Next is the Shift Focus Challenge. Every time you feel frustrated with your spouse, pause. Instead of thinking about what they did wrong, find the one thing they did right during that pause. Thank them for it. Watch how this small shift transform your dynamic. Love and respect check in. So you've got a lot to do this week, guys. So at the end of the day, ask, what's one way I made you feel loved and respected today? Number 2, use this feedback to love and appreciate your spouse better intentionally. These are the steps for you for this week through to next week. And I will also leave these in the group on Facebook for you guys to reflect back on as well. Before we go today, marriage isn't about the grand gesture, but small intentional moments. I am so excited to share this with you today because this is so passionate for me. The way you speak to your spouse matters. The way you acknowledge them matters. The way you express gratitude could be the very thing that revives your marriage. If you're in a tough season, don't lose hope. Small acts of gratitude can lead to significant breakthrough. You start by being that change. Want to transform your marriage? Start today. Make gratitude a daily habit and watch how love and intimacy grows. Join me on the next episode of Journaling with Judith. Leave a comment, leave a review, like, and follow the podcast. And if you need any extra help, please let me know. Connect with me on journalingwithjudith@gmail.com, or you can leave me a message on judithreconnect.com. Before you go, thank you for tuning in to Journaling with Judith today. If this episode blessed you, please follow and subscribe. Also, share with a friend. Don't forget to join the Facebook group for daily prompts, extra guidance, and an amazing community of gratitude seekers. And remember to grab your copy of Journaling with Judith, available on Amazon, to make the most of this journey. You'll find the link in the show notes. Until next time, stay grateful, stay faithful, and keep journaling. God bless you, and I love you with the love of God.